You are listening to the Whole Boss Podcast. I'm your host, Latrice Folks Jones. I help female entrepreneurs build their businesses holistically with systems while loving themselves more each day. Juggling family, business, your health, and well-being is not always easy, but it's possible. The Whole Boss Podcast is a healthy blend of holistic living, entrepreneurship, personal development, and realness to keep you moving forward in your life and business. Said in the last podcast episode that we were going to focus on the money for the rest of Money Making May. So we talked about mindset and energy of making more money in the last episode called the Abundance Map. But today we are going to talk about the ways that you can generate more streams of income by introducing digital products into your life. So we're going to name this episode Digital Project Virgin. So whether you're creating your first, well, mostly for people who's creating their first, since I'm using the word virgin, you might not be your first time in business, but it may be the first time that you are creating something digitally that you can sell online. So we're going to talk more about that in this episode. Welcome to episode 12 of the Whole Boss Podcast, helping female entrepreneurs have more wealth, health, and optimized living every day in their life and business. If we are just meeting for the first time, I'm Latrice Folks Jones, your biz nurturer, helping you to take care of your business while taking care of yourself. All right, so I'm tired, y'all. I'm just going to be honest because really I should have batched this episode. I kept saying I was before I left home because I'm on vacation right now. And I did not get a chance to batch the episode. So now I'm on vacation, been at the beach all day, walking, looking at lighthouses and stuff. And so now I'm a little tired, but we're going to get this episode out because I committed to actually doing a podcast each and every week that you can find on my website, wholeboss.com/podcast, or any of your favorite podcast platforms. Yes, so let's get this party started. So I wanted to go more into creating more wealth. And one of my favorite ways to create, business things and create more wealth in my business is to create scalable digital products. Okay. One of the things of being a whole boss is being able to have time to handle the other things in your life, like things like taking better care of yourself, spending time with your family and stuff. So to be able to do that, you need to have more passive income. So passive, they say, so it's basically you can create something once and you can continue to market or put on some type of an autopilot and it can sell itself basically. So a lot of things that's passive income, you still have to do stuff. That's why I speak more to scalable income. So it just means that you can get more out of less work. Okay, basically that's what it means. And that's going to be very important when you are trying to build a scalable, a holistic business. It's being able to have those systems in place, being able to have things working on your behalf, even when you're not doing them literally each time. Okay. So, and that's part of being a whole boss. That's one of the things that we focus on is creating scalable digital businesses, making sure that we're making ourselves a priority and taking care of our self-care and like living out our dreams and knowing what our desires are and things like that, as well as creating whole boss hours, habits, rituals, and systems for your life and business. Okay. So, in order to do that, you want to be able to have as much as possible. All right, so let's talk about first, since you're a digital product virgin, and this may be the first time that I'm sure at this point, 2021 is not the first time that you're hearing about a digital product, but you're actually just thinking about how you're going to start creating digital products in your actual business. With everything that happened last year, the world shutting down, brick and mortar businesses really struggling to be able to survive during these times. Now, of course, things are going to come back and you'll be able to have, the regular restaurants and stuff like that. But after this, it's like, all right, what can you create that is not dependent on those things? What can you create that can go regardless of if you're not going right then, if you need to take a vacation or you have an illness or there's a lot going on in your family life, what can you create that can keep generating income so you're never dependent? That's one thing about me being having the restaurant and stuff. And when I had my burnout situation and I decided to close, like once I closed that restaurant, I didn't have income coming in. I had a few recipe books that, would sell on Amazon and stuff if I wasn't selling it and things like that. So I did have that system set up, but it wasn't enough to sustain me, so like the more that I can do. So when I was able to start creating my cleanse was very helpful that people can buy anytime. So I love making money in my sleep. Okay. So people would buy my cleanse and then I would have it automatically set up so that, when they sign up, they'll get 3 days of prep. And then each day they'll have another thing to do so that they can actually do the cleanse. So I was actually guiding them, even though I wasn't actually guiding them. Now I did do the cleanse live a lot too, because that energy is something about live energy, but it's still very scalable because it's like a one to many model. It's one of me, and like it's not limited how many people could come on the cleanse. You know what I'm saying? Like if you're dealing with somebody one on one, or even if you have a brick and mortar restaurant and stuff like that, it's a certain amount of people that you'll be able to feed. Now you can like scale that, have more employees, have more food and stuff that you have in, and it's prepped and it's prepared. But all in all, it's way much easier to scale with digital products and services as well. Okay. So, what are digital products? One of the best definitions I found is that a digital product is an intangible asset or piece of media that can be sold and distributed repeatedly online without the need to replenish inventory. Okay, so these products can come in the form of downloadables, streamable digital files. They can be MP3s, PDFs, videos, and templates. So there's a lot of different digital products that you can have. And so when I'm talking about digital products, I'm actually talking about like an ebook or like a course and things like that. Now, there's a lot of different online businesses that you can create that may not be as scalable. Like, so if you had a one-on-one coaching business, it may not be as scalable. Now you can still make a good living from it because you can make sure that you're charging accordingly and having the right pricing, but it's not really scalable. You only have a certain amount of hours in a day. All right. There's a lot of services that you can create online that may not be as scalable as well. Like say if you was teaching online yoga classes, but you was actually teaching all of the classes live. You didn't record the video so that people can play it on demand, and you had to be there. So if anything happened and you're not able to teach the class, then you won't make the money. So you want to set up things in a place that is scalable, more passive, but you don't want to lose the personal touch that you have with your people. Because to be honest, there's a lot of things that people can find out, find free on the internet with YouTube, with Google, with all of those things. So you want to be able to offer something that is a level up for that. You want to offer a higher level of organization. You want to have everything in one place. You want to create an experience for them. You want to help work people, move people through step by step. So I prefer group coaching programs to one-on-one coaching programs. Now sometimes that's not going to work all the time. There's somebody who just has the money, they want to pay the money, they want you to work specifically on their product problem where they are right now, and just pay the money and get it done. And sometimes you can do that. I believe in a tiered system anyway, where you have like some lower priced items, then you have some, more premium price items. You have your signature offer, something that you're going to actually be known for. But we'll talk about that again in a minute. So now that you actually know what digital products are, let me give you some examples of digital products. Now, digital products, they made like $199 billion industry in 2020. That's crazy. So there's a lot of digital products being sold. All right. There's a lot of digital products and courses and things like that being sold. Courses, coaching programs, and all of that. So some examples of digital products are courses. So people can take courses online. They can, just learn something. They can learn how to do something. You can make videos so that people can actually learn how to do crafts. They can learn how to paint. They can learn how to play the guitar. They can learn how to cook. They can make vegan meals. I've taught that as well. So there's a lot of different things that you can create online with your expertise, with your knowledge and stuff like that. And we're going to talk about, how to, be able to choose what it is that you're going to sell online or make into a digital product. So you can do ebooks, you can do videos, you can do different templates like scripts, emails, resumes. You can do checklists, spreadsheets, photos, fonts, icons, logos, graphics, illustrations, digital art. I had Marguerite on here, Marguerite's Art, and she is selling digital art prints. She's putting on T-shirts. She's doing all type of things. So she's able to create her art digitally. All right, and it just makes a world of difference. So it's a new world. There's so many things that you can do with your different talents and add it, and you can make almost a class out of anything. Now, there are some things that you have to put in mind because the market is getting more crowded. Most people are realizing that, oh, I need to be online. My business need to be online. They might have the expectation that there's just a windfall of cash for everybody who comes in and just throw out any type of a course or ebook or a bundle and stuff like that. And that's not the case. There's some work that goes to it. It's not super easy. There's some upsides and there's some downsides. So more things, I'm sorry. You could do software, you can do membership sites, audio, like meditations, you can do planners, you can do a lot of different things. You can be an affiliate to other people's products and stuff like that. You can do that as well. I do live online digital retreats as well. So there's so many things that you can do online. There's a lot. So there's some upsides and some downsides. So one of the things, well, some of the things that are beneficial about doing an online digital business is a low overhead cost. Like, you don't have to have all the things that you need to have for an actual in place in person business. And I want you to be mindful because, like, it's not too late. There's a lot of people online. There's a lot of courses. Some of these markets seems, overcrowded, or you see something looking very fabulous and you're like, oh, I would never be able to create something like that. Like, if it's the same market or if you had like some of the same talent. There's a lot of people in the world. So there's somebody actually waiting on you. They're waiting on your experience. They're waiting on your voice. They're waiting on you to be able to help them, because maybe it's somebody that only you were able to reach. Okay. So don't think about like, oh, I'm just now getting in here. There's so much opportunity still in this business. And like all of the super duper regulations and stuff that you have, like if you're in person, is not in place yet, but best believe they are definitely coming because there's money in these digital products. And they got to get their cut. But anyway, but right now it's a relatively like low barrier of entry to get your products online. You don't have to have all the fancy bells and whistles and technology and stuff like that. There's a lot of free tools and stuff that you can be able to create your stuff, right now. Okay. So you don't have inventory to worry about. You don't have to worry about getting your stuff from out of the country into here and all of that stuff and things being held up. It's just a lot easier. Now, there are like online business. You can do things like, e-commerce, doing an e-commerce shop, e-commerce store. That's not as passive unless you're doing more of the drop shipping and stuff like that, because, people order through your website and then they're able to like, you have tools and stuff that automatically sends it to your actual like wholesale person, and they'll actually ship it out for you. So basically you're just getting people to come through your thing, but there's pros and cons to that as well. You can actually put it through a fulfillment center, something like Amazon or Shopify have fulfillment centers where they actually hold your goods for you. You send it to them and they'll ship it out and handle it for you, for a fee. So you can do things like that to make it more, scalable. Well, not even scalable, to make it more passive. Okay. But, again, it's still pros and cons and stuff. There's like the shipping time. There's still like a lot of aspects that you don't actually control, but people like stuff. So that is still a viable business that you can do online. But I love digital products like ebooks and courses and stuff that's based on your knowledge and stuff, because you just really get to keep a lot more of the profits. You have high profit margins, based on that. And it's, less energy. It takes the energy to actually create it. It takes the energy to do the research, make sure you're creating the right product for the right people at the right time and all that kind of stuff. But in general, there's just, it's just so beneficial. It's people don't have to wait for it. Like they can get it instantly, things like that. It's just more flexibility and it's more hands off. Okay. And they have like so many things that you can do to automate the process, completely, really. All right. That you don't even have to deal with it. Yep, there's just a lot of ways. There's many different ways that you can incorporate digital products into your business, and like e-learning and being able to learn things at the drop of a hat. You know how we feel about Google and stuff, and just being able to Google and go to YouTube and learn how to do something if you're trying to fix something around your house and stuff like that. But what if you have more vetted information and you have somebody who's taking you through the full process, and you can trust that that information that you're learning is the right way to do something, the quicker way to do something, the better way to do something, more efficient way to do something. So that is the benefit of being able to create a paid product. But you don't want to just put together a bunch of stuff that you could just get off of Google and try to charge high dollar for it, because there are people who do that as well. But that is not going to let you get chargebacks, all type of things. So you want to be in integrity, even with your digital businesses. So there's also some specific challenges that comes with having a digital business. So there's a lot of skepticism as well too, because there's people scamming and stuff like that, and people have been burnt and stuff by people because there's not as much regulation and stuff like that. So it can be more difficult, to sell items on line, especially because they're not tangible. They're not actually tangible. Can I just Google this? Can I find this at free? So you're kind of competing with free information. But a lot of times when people are really trying to do something seriously, or if they've already went through Google and tried to figure it out themselves and piecemeal a bunch of stuff together, and it didn't quite work out the way that they wanted it to or needed it to, then they're more apt to actually buy a program for somebody who's done it before and can guide them through the process. So, you can still get through that, especially if you're able to actually research, niche down. So basically, niche down means that you're not really broad and trying to serve everybody. You're serving a specific part of your industry. You're actually serving a particular product and stuff, or part of like a bigger thing, so that you can be a specialist in a specific thing. Now, I definitely like, being a niche instead of being like all over the place. Like, even though I have a brand that incorporates a lot of different things, but the more that I'm able to niche down in my brand, but also keeping it as a holistic system, that things work together and you don't have to like, do each individual thing, but everything comes together and work together in a whole system. I really like that. But, specifically, like now I speak specifically to female entrepreneurs, because first of all, that's my experience, as a female entrepreneur, and having to have a business, while raising children, while being single, while being in a relationship with a marriage, trying to manage all of the things that I have to manage, the multiple roles and stuff like that. I feel like it's important, for women to be able to have their own money, to be able to live the life that they want, and be able to provide for their children, regardless whether or not that they have a mate and stuff that's sharing in that. Because if you just look at the numbers of single women raising these children by themselves that's struggling and all that kind of stuff, or they have to work 2 3 jobs and be out the household, and the children are basically raising themselves or with other family members, and stuff be happening. I just really want to be able to create a way that female entrepreneurs can be able to, women can be able to, care for themselves, care for their families, and be able to make all of those things happen. Because if you get down to it, we need our mother's love. We need that security. We need that guidance. We need to be taught by her and all those things. The dad has a very important role as well too. But again, like I see so much, a lot of times we might have had to do it ourselves. So I want to be able to like create a easier way for that, so that people can be healed, and our children can grow up having the guidance that they need as well too. So that's one of my ulterior motives. Okay, so the other things that may be like a downside for digital products is that it's easier for people to steal your stuff. Okay, like they can just like look online, take your stuff, and try to repackage as your own. But when you really get into this thing, and you're like a creator, you're a author. Now, I'm not saying there's nothing really new under the sun, but if you're putting your perspective, if you're creating experiences, if you are really helping your people to get results and stuff like that, I wouldn't worry as much about people stealing your stuff. But it happens every day. You know what I'm saying? saying? It happens, it happens. I've been amused for a lot of people, as well too. But it is what it is. You know what I'm saying? But like, if you like focus on that, like, I don't want to put anything out, I don't want to say what I'm gonna do and all of this kind of stuff because people are gonna steal my stuff. Do your thing. There's a lot of people in the world. Even if a big name person come and just take all your stuff and they're able to like put it out there, and then it seems like you may be the copycat because you are not as well known as them, it's okay. There's still going to be your niche to find your thing, and you can protect yourself as well, with things like copyright and trademark. And the biggest thing that you can do is put your work out there, because a lot of times we deal with not feeling that we're good enough, imposter syndrome, and all of that kind of stuff. And we're not putting ourselves out there. So nobody even had a chance to see that we were the first ones who thought about that. Or we're not putting it out there in a big way, and we run across and somebody just sees our stuff. We're not consistent, and they're like, they ain't gonna do nothing with that. And, like, take your stuff. So that's one of the downsides. And also, there could be some restrictions as well too on, where you can sell digital products and stuff like that. But get your own website, because I know like places like Facebook and Instagram, your products have to be like a physical product and stuff like that. But you don't have to use those platforms to actually sell your stuff as well either. So um, you can definitely overcome those challenges as well too. There's lots of other ways that you can create digital products from your own knowledge, your creativity, skills, and expertise. And you don't have to, have like a bunch of things or be the most techiest person to figure things out. I started in this digital space, like, I would say like 2007, 2008. I was in there, for a minute, that I've been doing that, when I had my first recipe book, as my vegan chef and stuff like that. And that I created, and it was a ebook, so it wasn't a physical copy of the book, and people had to pay, and then they'll be able to download it then. And sometimes at first I used to have to email them the book and stuff like that, but we've come a long way. So there's so many ways to get your stuff out of that, and we'll talk about that in a future thing, because I really feel like this could be a series, the Digital Virgin series. Okay. All right. So now you may be thinking about, like, what am I going to sell? Like, what kind of digital products? I'm not really familiar with it. I'm not an author. I'm not like a super duper writer. Like, what am I going to create? Like, how do I create an ebook? How am I going to create a course? I'm not a professor. You know what I'm saying? Like that. So basically what you should do is like make a list. First, list your passions. Like, what lights you up? What do you love so much that you can do it for free and still be happy? Okay. So things like that, because everything doesn't have to be like, oh, health and helping people lose weight, helping people make more money, those things like that. It doesn't all have to be things like that. Now, those are some of the core desires that people want. So the closer that you can get to those things, and it comes back to that, that's going to, make you be able to sell more and at a higher price point and things like that. But there's so many things that you create. You don't have to be an expert. You know what I'm saying? You don't have to be those things. You could be somebody who loved doing ceramics, and that's all you did was different type of ceramics, and you got really good at it. And, you can teach people how to paint ceramics, or you can teach people how to create a ceramic party or a paint and sip party. And there's so many different things that you can do to create. So think about what are your passions? What are your talents? Like, what are you already good at? What are some things that, people call you for? What do they come to you to get help with? Are you good with doing hair? Are you a hairstylist and stuff like that? Can you do a guide on, having healthy hair? Or if you've ever been on YouTube and trying to do, like, I got locks and stuff like that, and you go in there to find different lock styles, and people, you can find a lot of those things for free on YouTube, but you can do it at a higher level. You can create, a package, a course on that, or how to do children's hair, different things like that. You can learn anything online. So yes, there are a lot of free things and stuff, but you can also position yourself to create something that is not available for free, or it's not as efficient, or you got to dig through stuff, or you don't know if it's going to work, all that kind of stuff. So think about what your passions and what your talents are. What did you go to school for? Did you go to college for something specifically? Did you have like a certain job that you worked, in the regular world that you can actually turn around? Where you're an accountant, so can you teach entrepreneurs how to manage their books better? There's like so many different things that you can use, based on your experience, based on who you are. You don't have to try to do a bunch of things that other people do because you think it'll make more money and stuff like that. Tap into what it is that you're supposed to do. Get in alignment with yourself and your purpose and what it is that you want to do. Now, that's one of the things that you said, and people be like, oh, that's so lofty and stuff like that. You can treat it as a job, and you could just pick something based on like, oh, well, this is a good market for that. But it's like I said, it's not as easy as people think it is to create an online business as well too. So like when you have those little ebbs and those flows, you get like stuck, and things like that. And having a passion about it, or having a passion of a big why behind it, is going to help you to stick to it and keep it going. You know what I'm saying? Because when it's just like a opportunity or something like that, it may not keep you going. All right. So that's why I like to think about that. So once you start figuring out what things that you're good at, and if you so happen to not have a skill or something like that that you think is not marketable, that you're not going to be able to create a business for, what are you interested in doing? Because you can just put the hours in, you can learn, you can take a class yourself and learn how to do something and specialize in it and practice on it until you become good at it. And then you can teach it, or you can do it as a service, for other people. There's so many ways to, get into something. And a lot of times people have time on their hands. If you've already retired, or if you're at like a waiting period in your life, you're on maternity leave, you're going to have a baby, you can like focus a little bit more if you don't have other children, but you can focus a little bit more on what you want to learn, what you want to do, what you're interested in, and how you can create a business. And one of the things that you can see if there's already a business already around that. Like if you see somebody else doing it, especially if they're successful at it, you see that they got followers, they got all that stuff, then you definitely can do it. You know what I'm saying? Because it's already been tested. It's already, somebody's already doing it and making money from it. If you see ads for it, popping up after you do some research, and you see other people trying to sell their thing just like that, then that's kind of like, some a level of validation that you can know that, oh, okay, I can sell this too. And you put your spin on it. You put your unique personality on it, because a lot of times people want to just do everything that everybody else is doing because they think it's successful. So I definitely believe in modeling, other people's businesses and stuff that's successful and stuff, but always figure out what is going to make you different, because a lot of times they started before you, they have more money to do it and stuff like that. So what is going to make you different in, that particular market? Okay, so next, after you figure out what it is that you are going to sell, so you might, before you even figure out what you're going to sell, you want to figure out who your ideal people are. Like, who are you going to sell it to? Because a lot of times, if you just create something and try to find the people to actually buy it, that's way harder than finding the people that you want to serve, the people who need something that you already have an inkling that you want to, sell. And you talk to them and you find out, what their problems are, find out, what they're looking for, what solutions they've already tried, and be able to vet out your ideal people. And then you can create that digital product with them. Okay. And then it's going to absolutely be something that they needed, that they wanted and stuff, because you've asked them, you found out, you built it with them in mind. Okay. So that's also important, because sometimes you'll do this. I'm a build this course and do all of this, and then you do all of that, and you spend months putting this course together, putting this ebook together, or whatever that you're doing, and then you try to sell it, and it's crickets, because you haven't built an email list, you haven't been putting yourself out there, with content. You really don't know what people want, what they think they want, or it might be based totally on your experience and stuff like that. But finding out who your ICA, as they call it, so that's ideal customer avatar or ideal client avatar, that's somebody who would want the products and services or have the problem that you can solve. Okay. So how can you help them? How can you serve them or help them transform their lives? What results can you bring to the table? And the more that you can give people results, the more that you can help them to transform their lives, then the more indispensable that you're going to be, the higher that you can charge, the more that you're going to be, you know, that people are going to, come after you and want you, and you're going to be in more demand. Okay. So, and the way that you do that again is being clear, getting really clear about, who your ideal market is. So once you do that, then you want to, get clear on your offer and your messaging. Like, so your offer is like what it is. We're going to do offer first. So what it is that you're actually selling them. So an offer, like the definition of an offer, is a clear proposal to sell or buy a specific product or service under specific conditions. So once you talk to your people, um, see what they want, what they need, what their problem is, what they've tried, where they're hanging out online, what is there before, where are they right now, what are their pain points, like how are they describing this problem and stuff like that. When you figure that out, that's going to help you to actually create an offer, create a no-brainer. Like if they had a magic wand able to say what they wanted to create, if you find that out, then you can create the perfect thing for them and make it, super irresistible, for them. So basically, an irresistible offer is structuring your product, program, or service to make the customer feel like they're getting a maximum value for their dollar. And you always want people to feel like lucky, like they got a bargain, and that they are getting this major transformation, for working with you. Okay. Because it's got to be worth it. Once you know that, you want to just brainstorm some ideas, some digital product ideas. You really want to do the research your ideal customers, what their pain points are, what their problem are, like where they are right now in their journey. Are they actually ready to buy? Do they need more education? There's so much, there's a lot of things. All right. So you want to actually validate that they want that particular product. So again, like I said before, you don't really want to be able, be creating like all of these products and services and all this kind of stuff with what you think it is. You really want to do it with your customers together so that you can make the absolute best product. So, and you can actually get paid for creating these products, if you go ahead and, do it with them, do it live, as you call it, And so once you do it live and you work out the kinks and stuff, you can actually re-record it, or sometimes you can use the things that you've already done with the live group, and you can just package it up and resell it many times without having to create it over again, unless you're updating it, or if you're in like an industry that you have to keep things updated and you have to add new things to it. So you want to keep that in mind too, to keep your to keep your work, kind of thing. But that's okay because it's scalable. Instead of doing it every day or for each person, you might have to like redo your program every year or every 6 months or something like that. But it's going to be worth it if you're getting it into a lot of hands of people, and your income is not directly tied to the energy that you put out, because you've created this thing one time and you're able to sell it over and over and over again. And the better that your systems are with things like sales funnels and stuff like that, and just automated things, the less that you actually have to do, each time. But you don't have to price your things based on that because you have it automated, but it's priced on the transformation that you're giving. Like for instance, if you're able to actually help people to lose weight and it saves their lives, or it makes them have the body that they want and have more confidence, so they begin to put themselves out there more, begin to make more money, or they attract their ideal mate, all of those things are priceless. Those things are worth a lot. So you don't necessarily have to price things based on, oh, because you have things automated. Like, what is the value of what it is that you're doing, the results that they get, the transformation that they get, because that's worth it. Like if you create a product, like say you have a business product and you're teaching people how to make hundreds of thousands of dollars or millions of dollars, then just because you're able to automate that product and stuff like that, and you create it once and stuff from your knowledge and stuff, does not mean that it has to be at a discounted price, because the value of it is worth it. And it's your job to actually communicate that to people so that they can know that it's worth it, right? So the type of people who like do digital products, or like creators, well, creators, bloggers, educators, freelancers, just regular people every day who learn how to do something well. How many times do you know so and so, they cook real good, you know what I'm saying? And you would love to know how to cook like that for your family, things like that. So you don't have to be like an expert, like, like I said, like suit and tie and all that kind of stuff. You can just be really good at something, and then you can be able to, teach somebody else how to do it. There's a lot of different areas of expertise that can be translated into a profitable digital product or online course, or like an ebook or a planner or things like that. You can be like a yoga instructor, you can be a chef, you can be an accountant, you can be a ceramic person, like I said. There's so many different things. And if there's already like a following or a cult following around it, like my niche, before, I started doing this is a vegan chef. I'm a vegan chef, and being able to help people to prepare healthy food that tastes good. That was my thing. That was easy to prepare. It didn't take a lot of exotic ingredients and stuff like that, and it had that soul and that flavor in it. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, people prefer for me to make it for them, but I was also able to create recipe books so that they can make it for themselves. So when I closed my restaurant, they could still have those meals and things like that. And it's better really to teach people how to make stuff and do things for themselves. You know what I'm saying? Because I'm not always going to be available, but now you have that knowledge and you could do it for yourself. You could do it for your family, so you can have better health. You can have, those things going. So I actually prefer it. I actually prefer it. Now I know there's times where, and people lazy, I'm lazy too sometimes, I'm lazy too. But being able to like, you know, cook that is priceless, or even be able to teach other people how to actually do that is going to be, because you're going to reach more people and it's going to help other people be more healthy and stuff like that. So just consider that. So this is for my digital product versions. It's not, I'm not gonna say it's just easy. It's easy because there's like a lot of different steps to it and stuff like that. But the main thing that you want to do is find out who your ideal people are. Find out what you're good with. What you're good, what you desire, how you desire to set up your business model. Like, what are your passions? What are your talents? What do people come to you to ask you for? Like, what are you interested in? What can you learn? What kind of skills can you add to your set that you can be able to, teach, or just create a service around it. Maybe you don't want to do it like that. Maybe you want to have a service to actually do things for people. And that's where people usually start out with services, because people don't want to do stuff by themselves a lot of times, or they want to find an expert so that they can save time, so that they could save money, in the interim and stuff like that. So a lot of people start off with services, but then you could flip that service, like once you work with a lot of people. And that's a good way to get started online as well too, because like if you're just starting and you don't have like a lot of experience, it's best to get experience. Sometimes you're going to start off by, giving away services and stuff for free, and, building some content and getting people to, be beta tested, or, to, in exchange for a testimonial or something like that, to do your product or a program or anything like that, so that you can start building up your social proof and, really get to know who your ideal people and, what they need, what they want, what they're looking for, because it's going to really help you to build a better business. But yeah, don't be scared. Don't be scared of the digital products. I love it. I feel like, again, why I introduced that as one of my main ways that I did business, again, because I burnt out, and to be able to create passive income that comes in, like even if you need to take a break or if you're on vacation and stuff like that, and you have things set up where people can pay and they could get in your programs and they can like start watching videos, they can, use the workbooks and do things to actually get transformation and results in their business without you having to be there 24/7 a day to actually, you know get paid. Is the best thing. I love that while I'm sleep money. Okay. That makes me very happy. Okay. But if you need more help, if you have any more questions and stuff like that, now one of my digital products is an online membership called the Whole Boss Academy. And in that academy, I help people to set up their business and their life, in a way with habits, rituals, and systems to be able to, create a business without the burnout, without sacrificing themselves, without sacrificing, their family and stuff like that to be in business. So it's to have more balance, but also to automate more things, to, create the systems and stuff so that it gets easier the more that you go, because there's always going to be a learning curve. There's work that you got to get done. So a lot of times I feel like people have, think they don't have to do anything if they have a digital business, or they could just like slap something together and put it out there and put a dollar on there. People do that. But if you want to create a sustainable business and stuff, you're going to learn the things that it takes to make a real business, a real brand, and you can make a lot of money online. All right. So if this podcast helped you, subscribe, like, and share it with a friend. If you have any questions or want to chat about this episode or any of my other ones, or you just want to say, what's up? Then join us in the Whole Boss Tribe Facebook group. All right. So until next time, peace.
If you're ready for more clarity in your business and to set it up to have more time, energy, and profit, then download my free Biz Starter Kit at wholeboss.com/starter kit.